And I gotta wait for it to catch up over here so I can mute it. Oh, I don't have to. I already done did.
Are you hearing anything from my background? Is there any
Wind,
background noise?
wind.
Okay, that's my fan. That's from my fan. Is it really bad?
Only when you talk. I mean, in a loving way. But yeah,
All
it
right,
sounds like you're outside here.
move out of the way.
Hey, Christy Sue, how you doing, chickie?
All right, how about now? You still hear it or no?
No, not so bad.
Okay.
But we are live.
All right.
Hey, Chrissy, when you see Sencha, tell her sure. I'll take one too. Anyhow, hi, welcome to the show. I know we've been gone. Um, we've been relocating.
Hey, Christy.
We've been figuring out our new norms, and we're under tornado watch. So, what better time to do a live feed of, how's everybody doing? If when a storm is upon you, which no matter how you slice and dice it, this storm is upon this whole country and world. Are you going to be prepared? You know, um, you can't give up. You don't stop preparing. You don't stop stocking up until you cannot get no more in any of your stores or wherever. Keep stocking up. Keep being getting prepared, however you can within your means. You know, and like I said before, food shelves are a great place because you get some for now and that you can eat now, and some to put towards your supplies to stock up with too. Um, and here's another tidbit: if you can grow a garden, that bag of beans you get, pop some of them in the ground, you can grow them. But who am I to know this one, other than the fact I've done it? But that don't mean nothing, you know. So yeah, because government ain't gonna always tell you, but they're getting prepared for what they're causing, and they don't care if the people do or not. It's not no sweat off their backside because of the simple fact they're gonna have their family stocked up and prepared for what's coming. They always do. They don't never go without. So you can't you can't stop. You gotta. I don't care if you can only do canned goods. Do what you can do. If you can grow a garden, grow a garden. I don't care. You do what you can so you're ready. And oh, by the way, it's not just food that's gonna quit coming to the stores. Everything, your clothes, everything. So I hope you know how to sew. You know, because it's gonna mean the world to you. Trust me on that one. Um, I just hope everybody gets stocked up and prepared for what's coming. It's just that plain and simple. You know, it's not fun times at knee high school. No, if you had to put a garden in by hand, that means cut the sod. Sod is your grass, and you had to turn it over a shovel at a time. Would you be able to do it? Would you be willing to do it? Would you know how to do it? You see, I do know for a fact that there are people that don't know how to do a garden. Wasn't raised around anybody that done a garden, but yet they want to learn and they don't know how to start. And I've been teaching some young ones how to do this, how to do a garden by hand, because that gas tiller isn't always going to have gas, you know. And before they had the garden tillers and garden tractors, they had, so only the rich people had them, garden tillers that, you know, they done one row at a time. That's how they used to do their garden. Or, you know, like everybody else, one shovel at a time after they cut the sod, the grass out of the yard so that they could work the dirt. And that's how they did their gardening. And that was only as far back as the 70s, 60s. So you might want to think about it. Hope you know how to use your tools. I hope you know how to clean your tools. I hope you know how to take care of your tools. It's all real important because if you don't, your tools aren't going to last you. You know? And you want to grow as much food in your garden as what you can. You can have a small garden. And here's a little secret. Have things growing up like your squash, your pumpkins, zucchinis, cucumbers, tomatoes. For everything that grows up on top of the ground or above the ground, you can also plant something that goes down into the ground, like your carrots, your parsnips, your turnips, your beets, your sugar beets, whatever. You know, that goes down, you can have one growing up next to each other. You'll get more food in your garden, and it works even in little gardens, but it adds up fast. And you gotta know how to can, dehydrate, prepare it so you can store it. Even if you put it in the freezer, you gotta make sure you got electricity to run that freezer, you know. And if you need jars, you better get them now because later there might not be any. Get your flats. Yeah, that's the center part. That's what it's called. The lid, that's a flat. Okay? And you got your rings. Those are the things that screw onto the top and hold the flat in there. Well, you gotta make sure your flat seals. Otherwise, you're gonna get sicker than a dog because your stuff ain't gonna keep very long. Because the moisture will get into it. And if the moisture can get into it, so can the bacteria. But I'm not here to discourage, I'm here to encourage. You know? And it could get to the point where seeds could be more valuable than what the coins are. Sure, it's going to be hard to eat gold and silver because your teeth ain't going to handle it. I don't care how good they are. I don't care how good of implants you got or dentures you got. They ain't going to chew the silver and gold. You know,
But that's
just saying.
let me chime in on that. See, that's the misconception of physical gold and silver. It's not about eating it. It's about the
I know.
implication and the uses of silver and gold.
Yeah, I know. But if you don't have anybody around that
Oh,
has
that's
the.
the thing. Though. There is always going to be people around. There is not never going to be no one around. There's always going to
No.
be people around. Just are you willing to travel, or are they willing to travel? And the answer is yeah. People
Well,
will
that's
always be roaming around and moving around and looking around and finding what they need.
that's fine. But if you're stuck in an area and they ain't got nobody to trade with the gold and silver,
Oh,
and you got
see,
a
that's
hole
the
in your
thing.
stomach of hunger,
There's always going to be trade. It
there
doesn't matter where you're at.
there'll be trade. Yeah, I know. There will be trade. But remember, a couple years ago, one of the countries was India and the other one I can't remember. One had garlic and the other one had onions. And that became because they were uh their crops done so bad, and the onions and the garlic became rare to get, and the onions and the garlic became um the currency. It was better
Yeah,
than their currency,
commodity. It became a commodity.
you know. So
Everything's a commodity. It just depends on what you're looking for and what the other party's looking for.
right, but at the same time, if you got seeds that grow, just saying,
But I would never go with gold because you can't do much with gold. Silver, you can use it for medicinal and for preserving shit. That's why I
right,
would go with silver. Gold, not so much. Plus, gold is or silver is more affordable. It's more plentiful. It's easier to move than gold. Because you're right
right.
though. You can't eat gold. You can't do nothing with gold
No,
until some sort of civilization and people start getting infrastructure back. Yeah, there's gonna be need for components, and gold and silver are perfect for that. But so is copper. So is aluminum, rhodium, uh, something dime. I can't remember what it's called. But all these metals are going to be needed again. But silver, I think silver is going to be more of a staple metal because, like I said, it's versatile. You can make medicine. You can use it for medicinal things. You can use it to preserve things longer. Because I mean, it's an antiseptic, antibacterial property in
right,
silver for some reason, and it's weird, but it just has that gift. No other metals like it.
right. But you know, you're still gonna want to have your seeds too.
Yep, seeds are gonna be like ammunition, very sought after, very hard to come by. As in, do you have what I want for me to part with some bullets or some seeds?
Hmm. Well, my attitude will be: I grow food. I make sure we're all taken care of. We don't have achy bellies, you
Right.
know.
Yep.
And oh, there's a deer. Hmm. Bet you I could get in one shot. Oh no, I lost him. You know, you're gonna want to be able to know how to hunt, and you're not gonna waste any of the bones. You're not gonna waste the hides because it's gonna be important. You're gonna need that hide. Welcome back, stranger.
Thank you.
Missed you.
Yeah, I got lost along the way somewhere.
I know, but I was saying about you know deer, rabbits. We even have a groundhog, or not groundhog, a woodchuck. Don't know
Nice.
how it'll taste, but hey, worst comes to shove, I bet you I could take it.
It'll probably taste
You know,
bland, honestly.
I don't know. I bet you though, with some hot peppers or something, it tastes pretty damn good when there's nothing else,
Oh
and
yeah,
we wanted meat.
stuff it
Then
with
again,
onion and garlic. Heck yeah.
I know where there's some fake turkeys. Benjamin Franklin's bird of choice that he wanted for the nation. Buzzards. Yep. I bet you we could make them ugly things taste pretty good too if we had to.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Anything tastes good with the right ingredients,
Yep.
and if you're starving.
Yep.
Yeah, they just recently did a recall on Jif peanut butter, all Jif peanut butter, supposedly quote unquote E. coli. But we know better. Why they do the recalls? It's not because salmonella, E. coli, blah blah blah. Oh no, salmonella. I'm sorry. They called peanut butter salmonella, not E. coli. Salmonella.
I got a feeling I need to plug my headset in.
Why is that?
It should have been fully charged.
Ah,
So I'll be sounding a little different tonight, won't I?
so amidst all these shortages since for a very long time, it's not recent. Uh, a recall on all Jif peanut butter, all of a sudden, nah. People should be wiser than that by now. Just like the chicken, beef, pork. Oh, we got to recall them because of salmonella, E. coli, blah blah blah, swine flu bird. No, it's not because of that. Because if that was the case, then they shouldn't be selling chicken and pork at all. Point blank, it's just common sense. So yeah, I wouldn't, I wouldn't send it back, or because they're telling people to if it's they're taking it all back, sealed or unsealed, and they're gonna reimburse you. But I don't know. I've never gotten sick of peanut butter and pork and chicken with what they say. Even beef with the mad cow thing. I've never gotten sick. Never. Oh, JT. Oh shit. I
I'm back.
same shit, different day, Christy. I guess. Yeah.
Ah, dang it. I come and he leaves. Hey, Huga, how you doing, honey? We are definitely having fun here. We have technical difficulties going on 101. Couldn't be because of we're under a tornado watch, but
There we
anyhow,
go.
what I was saying is it's just like the baby formulas, you know? Um they've had large chicken farms nationwide go up in flames in one night.
Oh, a lot of meat packing, meat processing places. Yeah, been mysteriously burning up, blowing up. Uh, whatever you could think of, it's happening.
Yep.
The
So
ba- the the baby formula is just another psyop on people. Like, oh my god, how am I gonna feed my baby? Well, make your own, or breastfeed, or find someone that can breastfeed. A wet nurse, like we were talking about, JT. There's no shortage of people, especially women that get abortions that have had. I'm just gonna go this far. That have had abortions, but they're lactating because their bodies are in the mode of producing for a child, so they can wet nurse. Just pay
well,
them. They'll take the money.
not just that, but there's cow's milk, there's
Yeah,
goat's milk.
there's many ways. Many
Goat's
ways.
milk is the easiest milk
Right.
for a baby. Don't
Right.
matter. Don't matter if they're allergic and can't have this or that.
Right.
Goat's milk. They
Yep.
will be able to digest it.
Yep. It's creamy and watery. It's not like cow's milk.
Right. And can you make your butter?
Yep. There's ways to feed your baby. There's just people have grown complacent for big daddy government. And like, oh yeah, they'll provide me with my WIC and my blah 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 free government program garbage because I don't have to do nothing. No, not now. This is all leading to a means.
The government guys only want to know when it's going to happen because they're preparing. They're stocking up for their families too.
Oh yeah, they have been JT for a long, long, long time.
and they don't care about the people knowing when it's going to happen, but they sure want to know when it's going to happen. However, gotta say, gotta say this. Y'all might think I'm crazy. Kudos for Nancy Pelosi's husband. He was in an accident and then got busted for driving.
Well, the reason that happened too is because he went out and does what a liberated free man when the woman's not home that wears the pants. That's what he did when she left. When she took off.
Oh, where'd she go to? Which
Uh,
country?
no, to a state. Shit, what state was it? She went to go get some honorary degree from Browning or Barrington. I don't remember, something like that. They're giving her. They pretty much gave her a fake degree for nothing.
They always do. And you're
That's
right,
what she
dude.
went for.
If you're searching for formula, pick up baby food. Although, here's a tad bit. You want your baby wants pureed beans, peas, carrots, squash. That squash you eat. Put it in a blender,
Yep.
pulse it,
Every fruit and
puree
vegetable.
it. They can eat it.
Yep. You can puree every fruit and vegetable and
When
make
they
into
make
baby food.
baby food, they take it at the ripest, sweetest moment,
Yep.
and that's how they do it. They cook it, and then they puree it and they slap it in a jar, and you can save all kinds of money doing it yourself.
Yeah, and it's easy.
And trust
It's
me,
really
I can tell you the good ones from the bad ones. I don't know too many
really no
babies
hard
that
work.
like the baby food with meat in it because it don't taste good.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I,
Hooga! What's up,
I can
Hooga?
tell you that the squash is good, carrots are good. The Hawaiian delight is fabulous.
I like
Okay,
the see the one I like a lot. I mean, I do consume baby food from time to time just because I like it. Plus, it has you got to consume at least 3 to 4 times what the baby does, so you got to consume more of it. But the thing is, the sweet potato and apple cinnamon, that's my favorite one. Then
yep.
there's the blueberry and banana. That one's good too.
And you get the
The,
custards with the cheese cake kind of stuff in it, you
no.
know. But the reason I know about these baby foods is because my jaw locks shut, and it has for years, not open, shut. And you can't get a toothbrush in there to brush your teeth or anything, which explains the bad shape of my teeth. But you have to be able to eat something. And it was funny because my daughter, she was little at the time, and I went to the store and I was getting baby food. And the ladies at the grocery store, they finally started going, "Is there something you'd like to tell us?" I said, "No, nothing." "Well, why are you buying baby food if you ain't got something to tell me?" I said, "So I can eat."
There's
They went,
something
"Oh,"
you gotta tell us.
because they noticed my lips only move, my jaw don't. And it's because my jaw locked shut from muscle spasms. So, I could eat a jar of baby food. Well, first it was a half a jar of baby food, and
Sweet
I got full.
potato.
And then it went to a little bit more. And
It's
one
like a
day,
shotgun, huh? Okay.
ooh, that is
You're right
bad.
there, dude.
Yeah, that is bad about the carrots and yeah. Anyhow, I wanted a bologna sandwich so bad, and I knew the only way I was gonna get a bologna sandwich was to puree it. So I put water in my blender. I put my bologna sandwich that I made the way I wanted it in the blender, pureed it. Somebody came and asked me what was in my glass, and I said my bologna sandwich. They said that don't look like a bologna sandwich. I said it might not look like one, but I'll tell you what, it's the best tasting one I've had in a long time. And I was in seventh heaven. I was eating my bologna sandwich. So yeah, you have to, you have to, be able to do like back in the old days. Grandma didn't go to the store and buy baby food. They mashed it up,
Yeah,
fed it to the babies right off their plates. You know, I mean, they didn't have no stores that they could go buy baby food at. Wasn't no such thing. But you know, things are gonna get to where you have to adjust. You have to learn how to do things different. Won't be easy, but can't give up. You know,
yeah,
just like a baby, when a baby starts moving around, they don't give up, and when they try to roll over and they can't. No, they didn't have disposable diapers. That's right, the old cloth, and oh, can't forget the plastic liners. The rubber pants and the baby pins. Those are must have. You know, and the put it this way: if you can hold a diaper up, or what a store calls a diaper, and you can see through it, put it back. That's equal to cheesecloth, okay? Just saying. You want diapers that are thick. Why? Because you're not going to be wanting to change your baby every 2 seconds, you know? Or, oh, the wee one went wee wee, and now you're wearing it because the diaper wasn't thick enough to catch. Just saying, you know? So, yeah, you're going to learn how to sew by hand too, or operate a sewing machine without electricity.
all right, later, Huga.
All right.
Good luck with
Oh,
the
good luck
procedure.
with it. We'll keep you in our prayers, Hugo.
She'll power through it. It's nothing.
Yeah, she'll come back doing the high kick. See, I'm back. High kick. Oh, those were some nice high heel shoes there, Hugo. I'm so glad you could get your foot up this high again. No, we're keeping you in our prayers. Positive thinking, you know. But yeah, we gotta keep doing what we can do. And seriously, if you can grow a garden, grow a garden. Grow what you like in your garden. Grow a lot of it. Grow some stuff you might not have, taste it or whatever. Learn how to fix it. Because even if you don't like turnips and parsnips, you get
Yeah.
hungry. You're going to wish you had them.
But they like you. They would like you for you to eat them because they're nutritious.
Yep. You want to have your spices so you can make even the worst thing taste better for your
Yep.
palate. Because you're going to need it to be able to eat. Otherwise, your stomach's going to get hurting really bad.
Yeah, you're gonna start getting sick. You're gonna start getting weaker. You're gonna all the things you know about already common sense wise that happens when you start going hungry. The delirium, the low blood sugar, all that stuff. It's some serious stuff, especially if it's not treated. You know, you don't eat because you
Exactly.
don't like pinto beans or you don't like uh, beets or parsnips or any kind of root vegetable that is either pungent or kind of bitter. You know, like you said, add stuff to it. You know, improve the taste. I mean, hot spicy will make anything that tastes bad to you not taste it. All you're gonna taste is heat. Just gonna taste fire. That's it. But hey, it's better than eating something you don't like, right? Eat fire instead of something that you don't like to eat. The taste of it.
Right. I mean, unless you grow your own wheat, I hope you get stocked up on flour and sugar and stuff like that.
I mean, yeah, shoot. Speaking of wheat, I mean, if you can get your hand on sorghum seeds, that I mean, sorghum is easier to grow than and harvest and work with than your average wheat. It's more resilient too.
Well, back when I was a kid, believe it or not, the farmers around here, they grew wheat, they grew oats, they grew corn. They didn't grow soybeans.
Yes, yeah. So
Now they don't grow oats. They
yeah,
don't
they
grow
grow soy.
wheat. It's soybeans with corn.
Yep.
But this year they started pushing the farmers to grow more soybeans. And I'm like, this is crazy. This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah, because they put soy in everything now, JT. Everything has soy, even what the cows and even what the livestock eat, they eat soy. Everything has soy. So guess what? When you get that livestock and when they butcher that livestock and it goes to your market, all that meat, the chicken, the pork, the beef, and stuff like that, it's all saturated with soy now.
That's sad.
Yeah, I mean everything's made with soy. If you don't read your ingredient labels, like what we're talking about, like people don't read it anymore. Everything has soy. Everything that once had vegetable oil or corn oil or canola oil. When you read the labels now, especially on salad dressings, all soy oil, all mayonnaise, soy oil. Anything that took oil at one time and point in place that like, oh, this stuff tastes good. Guess what? It's soy oil now. Everything has soy oil.
Yep,
Everything has soy.
that's sad.
Yeah, that's why cereals don't taste good really anymore because they're made with soy.
I mean, it's just,
Nothing tastes good like anymore like it used to, JT, because it's all soy or reduced iron or yeah, reduced iron and all these weird scientific lab chemicals.
yep. And
It's all artificial.
yeah, not healthy.
Nope.
You pick up a cake mix off of off the shelf at the store. How many of the ingredients in it can you actually pronounce without needing a medical dictionary?
Or having your own personal scientist go with you, right? Shopping.
Right. Okay. Now, take and get out an old cookbook. And I mean old cookbook, okay? Run one from the early 70s, 60s, 50s. Get it out. Read the ingredients in that recipe. I don't care which one you pick. Read the ingredients that you're going to need to make that recipe. Bet you can pronounce every word in
Yeah.
it. And I don't mean, oh, the kind that go, and you need a tube of Pillsbury Hungry Man biscuits. No, I mean the ones where you made the biscuits to do it, to put your other ingredients for the recipe together to make whatever it is you're making and taking shortcuts to make. You know,
Yep.
because it's going to get to the point where that is going to be the only way you eat anything. You want bread? Sure hope you know how to fix it. Oh, your air conditioner don't work? You gotta cook over an open flame. You gotta use a charcoal or a wood grill. That's fine, fantastic. Why? Because that smoke flavor going around your bread is going to make your bread taste so amazing. Your Starbucks bread don't have love in it either, but okay, whatever. That wood smoke is gonna make your bread taste amazing because you ain't never had anything that's good. You know, it's like you take and you cook a meal over an open flame. I don't care if it's a grill. I don't care if it's a fire pit. You cook that meal over an open flame. You can use a fry pan. They got cast iron ones. They're good for it. Gotta know how to take care of your cast iron fry pan too. Otherwise, you ain't gonna have pan. Just say it. If you when you season the inside of it, season the outside of it so it don't blow up on you. Because if you don't take care of it correctly, it will. Anyhow, your food will taste amazing. It will be fresh, and you will never know what you were missing until you start eating food cooked that way.
Yep.
And you got somebody that needs to put weight on, cook them food over an open flame. Okay? They will get their appetite back real fast. And they'll get their strength back real fast too. Trust me on this. It's gonna be amazing. The flavor of your food will improve beyond your imagination. You know, you don't need fancy buttons and dials and whistles and bells. Your great grandma never had them, and her family didn't starve to death. Because if they had, you wouldn't be here. Just saying. So, yeah. Yeah, we know tonight's not our normal night or our normal time, but that's okay.
Normal. What's that?
We usually go on Sundays at noon, but
Oh, you mean the routine? Yeah.
yeah. However, we're out of shape. We're figuring out a new norm, and so we decided to do one tonight, out of the blue, and catch everybody by surprise. Yep, I know it's Memorial Day.
Yep. But what? See, that's the thing, though. It shouldn't matter if it's Memorial Day or not. A lot of people aren't going anywhere. Why?
No,
One, it's just too expensive to travel now. Two, a lot of people don't give a shit about this day anymore. And I'm just speaking from experience and what I see and hear, and just these days, people don't give a shit about either people who sacrificed their lives or people who served. And I'm not just talking about military. I'm talking about in every institution where people take it upon themselves not just to do the job, but give up and sacrifice their home, their family to go out and do a service for their community in one way or another.
yep,
and people don't give a shit about that anymore. Why? Because, well, why do I have to give honor or thanks to people that I don't know that didn't do anything for me? It's like, but they did in one way or another. They did.
Okay, let's look at it this way, boys and girls. The military women and men that died, they sacrificed their lives so you could keep your freedoms. That in itself, we owe them not just a gratitude, a thank you, but we owe it to them to honor them. Okay?
Right.
You got your firemen, you got your police officers, and not all police officers are bad guys. Some of them really care about their communities, really care about people and kids and women and everything. Okay? And you got your nurses and your doctors that aren't just, oh
Yep.
yeah, man, we get the kickbacks from the companies. No, they actually care about you. Okay?
Yep.
And if it wasn't for them, where would you be? You know? Those are the kind of doctors and nurses you want when you get hurt. And you gotta go to the hospital. So you think, you need to tell them thank you too. And not just the words because you know that's what you're supposed to do. Say it from your heart.
Right.
Say it from the
Sincerity.
bottom of your stomach with sincerity and
Yep.
honor. Okay? Now, let's go on down the list here. What about the semi drivers? What about the farmers? Because
Yep.
if it wasn't
Teachers,
for the
truckers,
farmers,
farmers. Yeah.
if it wasn't for the farmers that grew the cotton to be woven, spun, okay, cleaned and spun and woven, you wouldn't have your cotton shirts, underwears, whatever. All right? And if it wasn't for the farmers, you wouldn't have your food, your meat. Just telling you, guys.
You
Right.
even your leathernecks, the guys that are out there drilling for oil. You know.
Right. Your car wouldn't run with a hoot and a holler without the oil and without the gas. But what about the truckers that take the cotton, that take the food, that take the meat, and all of that stuff to the damn stores where everybody so happily buys it? I mean, there are people that don't realize all of this is how that food and those clothes get to be made to be sold to you in the store. Hi, Patty Price. How you doing, honey?
Hey, Patty.
I mean, we we even your farmers market. You know, you might have people that they don't have farm, but they sell stuff at a farmers market because they grew extra in their garden. You need to tell those people thank you because you're buying fresh produce. Might be the only way you'll be able to buy any or get any. You might have to barter for it in the future, you know?
Yep.
So, because the stores aren't always going to be there, the truckers aren't always going to be able to afford the gas. A lot of them can't now afford the diesel. That's why they've cut down on hauling, okay? I mean, there's a lot of people that keep this society going.
Yep.
Y'all don't realize. And can't take anyone can't take anyone for granted, you know? So when you have to do things manually, are you going to be willing to do it or are you going to give up? You know? I hope you're able to get stocked up. And I hope you're able to make it and feed your families, you know. And oh, by the way, if you have pets, you want to stock up on pet foods and stuff you need for them too.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good point, JT. That especially people with pets, what are they willing to do? How far are they willing to go? How much are they going to sacrifice to keep that pet fed and watered and comfortable too? Are they going to neglect it because they can't afford to take care of it? Because then what was the point of having it in the first place?
And Patty, you are right. There will be people going around taking out of your gardens, out of your homes, unless you have a way to detour them.
Yep. You got to deter them.
You know, you have to have ways to defend yourself. I mean, because yeah, they're not gonna knock on your door and say, "Can I borrow a cup of sugar?" You know, and if they do, they might just be seeing if you have sugar, so they can go, "Hey, Joe Blow over here and his family, they've got all kinds of supplies." So the clan gets together and then they come and attack you and take everything you got, so they can eat. You know, you have to be careful with that one, but oh, some of them elderly people, yeah, I understand your concerns there. But some of them people, you don't want to mess with them too much because, gotta remember, they grew up with mom and their grandmas cooking with cast iron fry pans and stuff. They know how those people be able to make them things sail through the air. Just saying, you know. I mean, but yeah. And oh, here's the news flash for you also. Anything in your hand, and even things you don't think of in your house, can be used to defend you in ways you don't expect. Just so you know. So, because your knitting needles, yeah, they can be used. Your crochet hooks, they'd be like a fish hook go in.
Hard to pull out. Yep.
You'd have to push them all the way through to get them back out.
It's like a knife with a gut hook. You stick that knife in somebody, it ain't coming out the
Yep,
way it came in.
yep.
It's not coming out that way. Either you make an incision, deep incision, or leave it in there until you can get it removed. Because it's hard to pull out a knife or anything that has a hook like that. That inverse hook.
I don't know if Christy Sue is still around or not, but since you could yeah, do a run. I'm hoping. I mean, like I said, we're not here putting anybody down. Man, we're your biggest cheerleaders, encouraging, and good to see, good to see Christy Sue's still around. We're encouraging you. Um, we're hoping and praying that you people, young, old, I don't care. are stocking up and don't stop until you can't buy any more at the stores. Because
Right.
then and only then will you have. And then when you can't buy it at the stores, I hope you're growing.
And one another thing too, just because a thing about not being able to buy from the stores anymore doesn't necessarily mean they're out of stock of things. It's just shit's just too damn expensive now. Your
Yeah,
money doesn't go very far anymore, so you cannot buy what you're used to buying. It's only going to be a limited amount. Everything's being rationed because of this artificial shortage. So there's a high supply and demand, but a low flow of goods. It's artificial. So what do? They make people. It goes to the highest bidder. Essentially, you're pretty much at an auction by now. Someone who has more money than you will be able to buy that, and you'll be like, "Well, shit, I couldn't buy it because I didn't have enough."
exactly. They don't remember. They don't give a hoot and a holler about us.
Right.
They only care about them. And when they can't get no more money out of us, oh well.
Oh well, the next step is your life or permanent indenturement. Permanent slavery. You're pretty much working for nothing, going home with scraps, if that.
Yep.
Well, they
So
get everything out of you, and you get basically nothing from them. That's fair, right?
no,
That's equal.
that's not fair.
Of course, it's not. It should be the other way around, but it's not.
Yes, it should be the other way around. But they're the big wigs on the totem pole. We're not.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
That's
Because
fine too. I do not.
they will get what they got coming.
Yep. Because I'm
So
not willing to sacrifice my way of life, my faith, my decency, my manhood, just to be in the position they're in. I'm like you said, they're gonna answer for everything that they've done, and I don't want to be in that position where I have to answer for all the heinous things I've done to get to where I'm at. Nah, no thanks. I'd rather be where I'm at right now than a position of power like that.
exactly.
I can't, I can't be evil like that. I can't be like that. It's not in me. One point in my life, maybe, but nah, I, there's no way. I can't sacrifice myself like that just to have something temporary like that. I cannot.
Well, if we gotta sacrifice ourselves for stuff like that, it's not worth it.
Right, you're sacrificing everything that is you, your soul, your connection to God, or your connection to something greater that you know was there, but you still kind of disconnect from time to time because things are going your way, but you know that that being, that power is there. So what do? You do really really heinous evil stuff to feel fulfilled that you're powerful, that you don't need this other power that seems to fail you every time or doesn't answer you, to feel good. And they don't feel good, because if they felt good, they would have stopped a long time ago. If they were
Right.
fulfilled and happy and content, they would have stopped a long time ago. But they're not.
That's why They aren't pleased with anything they get.
Right. Anything they take because they don't earn it, they take it.
Yep. I mean, it's just one ordeal after the other.
Yeah.
We took up a new hobby. You know, we go outside and we smoke our cigarettes. Well, it's been windy, unbelievable windy. Okay, the winds haven't gone away. Put it that way. But now it's okay. Do you smoke your cigarette, or do you fight to keep it lit to smoke it, or does the wind burn it up for you? You
So
never
you
know
wait.
what it's gonna
So
be.
you. So you guys are racing the wind to smoke your cigarette before the wind smokes it for you.
Yep.
Nice.
Trust me, you cut down really fast that way.
Like, yep, I only got 3 drags. I'm good. I feel good now.
Yes, that has to happen.
One drag, two drags. What the hell? It's gone.
Yep.
One drag. One good
Yeah.
drag. I'm good. Let's go back inside.
Yeah. We've been in that situation,
Nice.
and the best part is, get up at 2:30 in the morning.
I kill you.
You know, 2 o'clock in
Get
the
it?
morning. There ain't nothing going on, but it's a beautiful time. It's fun because you see the stars up in the sky. It's nice and quiet. Birds aren't chirping because they were snoring,
Yeah.
and everybody's sleeping. You
Even
go
the
out,
wind, or is the wind still going?
the wind isn't blowing very much.
So it's taking it easy. It's taking a break.
Yeah, it's sleeping too. Why?
It's like,
Because it comes and blows you around during the day.
I'm on my 1 hour break, you guys. Go ahead. Go ahead and smoke.
Right. It was windy at 3:30.
I'm on my
Yeah.
lunch.
And this morning I got up 2:30 or 2 o'clock, and Chrissy gets up and says, "You want to have a cigarette with me?" Well, it's not 3:30, right? What time is it? And I'm blocking the clock.
She looked like a football player wanted to tap him. You can't see the clock. It was 3:15.
So we went out and had a cigarette, and then she went back to bed. What a party pooper, you know?
Yeah,
So
party pooper.
I was tired.
4:30, I laid
Buzz.
down, went back to sleep. Yesterday morning, I got up at 3:30 in the morning. I didn't go to sleep back to sleep until in the afternoon. I took a nap, but
Yesterday, I thought she was crazy too. She leaving her up at 3:30 in the morning.
I just, yeah, I like being up. I like watching the sun come up when the world comes to life again. You know, it's great. You don't have to worry about anybody.
Yeah.
So
Yes, that's one of the great things about country living. You're not trying to see the world and nature in an area that has too many buildings, too many lights, too many people, too much pollution. That's real pollution. To me, that's another form of pollution. There's just too much human crap in the way that you can't even see nature for what it is anymore.
right,
You can't appreciate. You're unable to appreciate it.
yep.
But when you're out there in the rural and the country living, yeah, you can appreciate. You can actually see the world as it really is.
When it gets foggy, it's like, okay, we know where the neighbors are. Oh wait, they're invisible today. Gotta wait for the fog to lift so you can find them.
I love you, Mom. It's actually 9:30. I didn't tired.
So you know, it's just one of those things. Bring me down my patty in a fork
And then I can go to sleep.
till the show's over. You can't. She's being a wanky.
I'm not
I'm tired. I'm sleeping.
You you hush your mouth, young man. I am tired. I want to go.
Young man. I think I'm older than you by a year. I think.
I don't think so.
What year were you born?
80
What month?
April.
First half or second half?
First.
Okay, he's 3 months older than me. Damn.
I overshot it a bit, but I knew I was older.
I
What did he say?
don't know. You have to come and ask him.
I said I know I overshot it a bit, but I knew I was older in one way or another. You're
You know,
elder.
can't even argue. I gotta go get her puppy.
Oh, fun. What funs we do to have fun. Yeah, we're waiting to get things in the garden, in the ground, and watch it grow.
Yeah, it's crazy, JT. It's already getting late. We're already hitting into June.
I know.
Like right at the precipice of June already.
I know. That's why it's all got to go in this week. Or otherwise, it'll be too late. But we do
Crazy.
have some. We do have some in the ground coming up.
Yeah, you said raised gardens and whatnot, right?
Yeah, we got some of them. We're talking about the ones in the ground.
Yeah, but like what my point was, at least you guys got stuff growing already,
Yep.
or in the process.
Yeah. Plus, we got some other stuff we're gonna put in the ground and watch it grow and have fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh,
And
yeah.
we're gonna have a little bit of everything and some things people don't expect. But that's okay. Two things that I know about. Well, all I know about them both is gotta cook the snot out of them, literally. And that's okra and asparagus. Boy, is it a
What
good thing you got cheese. That's
what
all I can say.
to preserve them or to eat them?
To eat them,
Really?
yes.
Because I uh, I go a little bit past blanching on okra and asparagus, and then I'll just throw it in the oven, and they're fine. I mean,
Okay, you can come and show me how to do it.
well, I'm not saying you're wrong, JT. I mean, that was
No,
just my process.
that's all I know about. No matter what, you gotta cook the snot out of them.
Because once you throw them in the oven, that's it. Like 10, 15 minutes in the oven, and they're done. A little bit of butter on them, or olive oil, or whatever you want to use.
Cheese.
Or yeah, like you said, cheese.
They gotta
But
taste
it,
good when they got cheese on them, right?
no, I don't use cheese on them. Just butter or oil, olive oil. Then I'll pan fry them too, or throw them in the oven, one or the other.
Gotta cook the snot out of them.
Maybe it's just a California thing because the climate difference. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not a chef.
Because it does get pretty hot out here. So by the time you pick your okra when you harvest them, I guess they're partially cooked. I don't know.
Well,
Same thing with Brussels sprouts.
up north they had a cannery that done sweet corn. Okay, Down these parts, they had a cannery that done asparagus. So they have a lot of wild asparagus that grows along the dishes. So you learn stuff every place you go.
Yeah.
They used to grow sugar beets and stuff like that too here in this area. And before people turn your nose up and say, "Oh no, not sugar beets, they're not good for you." Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sugar beets.
Sugar beets are way better than the freaking high fructose corn syrup, that's for sure. But by all means, enjoy your poison. I'll
When
eat
we
sugar beets or use
when we lived
sugar.
up north, when I was a kid, we lived up north. This one village, our neighbor grew sugar cane, but you have to have the right soil and you
Yep.
have to live at the right level, sea level, to be able to do it.
Yeah. They like sandy soil
Mm-hmm.
and lots of water.
Mm-hmm.
But once they're ready, there's nothing like a fresh sugar cane.
Mm-hmm. But that's what our one neighbor went to planting and growing. He made good money off of it too.
Oh yeah, they're good money. If you can get a good yield every time, it's good money. Because, well, what do you know? Sugar's used in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when shit hits the fan, well, people are gonna be chucking hand over fist for that sugar. Why even trying to kill you for it? It's like, why kill the cow?
And
You're better
sugar
off
beets,
milking the cow than killing the cow.
just like your sugar cane, sugar beets, you cook them down, and your byproduct is in the bottom of your pan, which is sugar.
Yep,
And then if you
raw
want brown
sugar.
sugar, you want brown sugar? Well, here's a little secret on that one. Put a little bit of molasses, and I mean a little bit,
Yep.
in white sugar, and you stir it up, and holy Lord, guess what you got? Your brown sugar. It depends on if you mix it with light molasses or dark molasses. That's how you get your light brown sugar and your dark brown sugar.
Yep.
But who am I to know this stuff?
And if you want your confectioner sugar, just get a pestle and mortar. Little elbow grease.
Oh yeah,
Just pound those granules down to powder. You got your powdered sugar.
I showed the kids that several years ago already. I said, "This is how you get powdered sugar." And I had my mortar and pestle, and they went to town. They had fun.
Yeah, yeah, it's fun. Using a mortar and pestle is fun. You got the wheel type. You got the one where you're just mashing things down. You have
They had the
several
one
different types of roller types actually.
we were using the one where you smash it with the
Yep.
stick like thing,
Yep.
and that's how we did it.
Yeah, I used to help my mom make things with the mortar and pestle. I would be the assistant, and I would have fun using the mortar and pestle. I remember that stuff. I was about two, maybe three. Well, two going into three. I was always helping in the kitchen. That's where I learned how to cook.
Good old
was
fashioned
helping
cooking.
was helping her.
Yep. You know, when you don't, when you have to do things the old way, yeah, your life slows down to a point, but the more you do something, the faster you get.
Yeah,
The faster you get at one thing, the faster you get at another thing because you'll get time where you can get more and more things going. And at night, when your head hits that pillow, you're so wore out that it ain't funny. And then you get up the next day and you do some more.
yeah. Like we talked about before, JT. I see that as a better way of life than right now modern lifestyle because you're always everywhere. Your mind, not really physically, but your mind is, and that stresses you out. Like the old way of living, homesteading, whatever country
Mm-hmm.
living. It's a steady, slow pace, but you're working at your pace.
Mm-hmm.
You're not killing yourself, stressing yourself out, straining yourself, stretching yourself.
And the kids, they got a big kick out of me because I told them, I said, well, we lost a lot of stuff when we moved. And I said, just let me figure things out here. Don't get in too big of a rush.
Yep.
And I started replacing some of the stuff that they enjoyed that they lost. And then they like Minecraft. And I'm like, okay. And I looked. They have board games for Minecraft, no videos recorded or required, and no video game required. And you get good at one, and you can get another one. You can put them together once you get one figured out. Then you figure out the other one, you put them together, okay? And it makes your adventure even more. And I'm like, well, gee, these games kind of, can link together. All of them can. That's pretty doggone good. And the kids were like, why don't you want us to have video games? I said, that's easy. Don't ever lose your imagination.
Yeah, video games are mind dumpsters.
I said, if you lose your imagination, you're screwed. Because you see, before we had video games, we all used our imagination. And that's how people invented things, was by using their imagination.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for their imagination and drawing it down on paper and figuring out how to make it work, the world wouldn't have electricity and stuff either.
I don't
Wouldn't
think
have cars.
we wouldn't even have forks and spoons if people didn't really like. Hey, what if I invented something to scoop something and then put it in my mouth? A utensil. Straws. I mean, shit. I don't even think we'd have straws if people didn't have an imagination.
Exactly.
The
You
simple
know?
stuff we take for granted.
So you never, ever want to lose your imagination.
Right.
I don't care how old you get or how young you get. Never lose it. Because that will get your ability to think things. Got a problem? You want to make something? You got to figure out how to do this.
Yep.
Can't go to the store to buy that part anymore. How the are we gonna? Oh man! And then it'll hit you. And then you make notes. You write it out. And you make notes and you try it. You might have to tweak it. Okay, so you put down on paper how you tweaked it. So that way, if you need it again, you got the information for later. And that's how they used to do things. You know, farmers, they knew how to do blacksmithing. If they didn't, they had to go to the local blacksmith shop. But most farmers I know, they had their own blacksmithing place on their farm. Farmers also had granaries back in the day too on their farm.
Yep.
I know, because one farm we lived on, we had a granary, and I could go up to the shop and I could show you right where the anvil was. And I could show you where the um fireplace was for the coal or coke, and they would heat the iron there to make what they needed, you know. And then go just south of the granary, and there was a big building. That's where they had their hogs. And then you go east of that a little ways, there was corn bin, the kind that you'd pull the wagon in. And they had corn bin on one side and corn bin on the other, and you chuck the corn in the bins that way. And then a little ways east of there, you had to walk down a little hill. But you had your creamery, you had your barn. Up above, you had the little barn. Okay, but up above the creamery, there was a little barn. And then went over a little ways from that little barn, there was a big barn that was above the barn down below where the cows were. When you put them in, you milked them, you let them out. You know, in the wintertime, you kept your cows in the barn so they didn't freeze out in your field. And up behind the house, there was a big building, and it was a Kwanzaa hut. Had cement floor in it. I mean, it was huge. We could have lived in it. It was that big, and I ain't kidding you. And that's where I had my chickens. And then if you came down back towards the house, there's a sidewalk that went out past a couple apple trees there. And that was where they had their summer kitchen. Why there was a sidewalk that went to nowhere. You know? And they moved the one room schoolhouse up against the house down there. And the one room schoolhouse came with two outhouses, boys and girls. You couldn't go through the wall between the house and the schoolhouse. You had to go out the house, around, and into the schoolhouse door to get in the schoolhouse. And that was one of my toys. And it had all the desks, it had the potbelly stove, it had the chalkboard, the school teacher's desk, all the books, everything. And that's how I learned how to cursive write. It was in my one room schoolhouse. Couldn't print, but I could sure cursive write. And I learned how to do it like they used to back in the day. What they call calligraphy nowadays. And I had to learn how to print after I learned how to cursive write. Because that's where I learned how to in my one room schoolhouse. And then I found out years later, my neighbors, mom and dad, met because of that one room schoolhouse. It used to be up on their farm. And they built it. His family built it for the kids in the area. And she got hired on to be a teacher. Well, they met and they fell in love. And then they adopted my best friend, and her sister, and they lived about 2 miles down the road from us, you know. But yeah, that was the teacher at the one-room schoolhouse. It's rather interesting. Might not mean much to you. And then out in our one field, there was a full 2-story log cabin. That was my other toy. I didn't have toys like everybody else, dolls and stuff like that, no. And inside my log cabin was potbelly stove. And then you went up the stairs, and there was a baby crib, and there was beds in the one room, a full-size bed and a small bed, so I knew one of the kids slept there. But all the furniture downstairs was gone, except for the dry sink. They left that for me. And then you went out the door and to the south, and there was an opening, and you could tell they were planning on adding on to the house because there was this big flat piece of area. It had wood and then it also had cement on it. It was made out of the ground. It was mortar made out of the ground, which was in between the logs also. And in the basement, or what I called the basement, I remember looking up and chuckling because on this there was a string there, and on this string there was bones. It was at one point in time a rack of ribs, but all that was left was bones and a string. And because of that one, because of that 2-story cabin, when I got in junior high, we always had this thing. The history teacher would tell you, "We want you to make a cabin," and all the kids would use popsicle sticks and glue. And that's how they made their cabins. And I looked at him and I said, "You want me to make a cabin?" He said, "Yeah." So I asked my history teacher, I said, "Okay, I'll make you a cabin because that's what you said you wanted." I says, "But can I go outside and get sticks?" "Well, yeah." "Are you sure that's all you're going to do?" "Yep." I went out and I got my sticks. And then I went, "Can I go outside and get some stuff that I need to make the cabin?" He's like, "What is she up to?" "Yeah, it's okay." And then I had to get some water. So I asked him, "Can I get some water for my stuff?" And by every time I'm doing something, I'm growing this man's interest beyond belief. And we made this cabin. And it wasn't nothing special, it wasn't nothing fancy, but it was a cabin. Because he told me he wanted a cabin. Okay, well, he took my cabin and he put it on this table. And he had these big girls' tooth lollipop stick candle or cabin on that table. And then he had big boys' lollipop stick cabin on that table. And he walked over to this table and he says, "You know how good your cabin is?" And the kids went, "No." And he took his fist straight down on top of that table. Not on top of the cabins, but on top of that table. He hit that table so good, all the cabins jumped up, was bouncing. The lollipops ones collapsed. My cabin didn't come apart at all. He says, "I don't know how she knows or how she does it," but he says, "That's how you make a house. That's how you make a cabin." And I don't know if he's ever made anybody else make a cabin since. But the reason I knew was because of my cabin out in the field. That was one of my toys. I looked at it. Now, when they mixed the mortar, they used the ground that was around you. When they mixed the mortar, they might use horsehair. Now, if you didn't have horsehair, you could use grass because grass is a fiber. And the stuff ain't going to give. It's going to hold. And that's why my house stayed together, because I knew what I was doing. So when you have to do things the old way, don't give up. You know? It's real important that you don't give up. It's real important that you don't give up learning. Because you gotta learn something. All the time. If you close your mind to learning, then you've already given up. So do yourself a favor. Don't lose your hope. Don't give up. Keep faith. And do what you can for yourself. And have a positive attitude. You'll be okay. Sure, you gotta adjust, but what have you been doing your whole life? You've been growing and adjusting. You know? So, prepare while you can. Stock up as much as you can within your means. Grow food if you can. Learn how to sew. And if you can, learn how to make thread. You know? Clean cotton. Clean wool. And make thread. Because it's going to be important. You know? Can't give up. No matter what. You gotta keep on trying. And never give up. Well, I lost my faithful companion again. Jeez. I suppose I ought to get off. Anyhow, y'all have a good night. I'll talk with you soon. When I can. So, God bless y'all. Talk to you soon.
Holy fucking raccoon.
Good night.